Welcome in Zandvoort in the Netherlands for the fourth round of the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge Benelux. Sunny conditions in Zandvoort, and these are good conditions for some of the Dutch drivers who know this track by heart, of course, and one of them is Mickey Bertram. After Spa and Zolder, we're in Zandvoort. What do you think of it? I live actually next door here, so I like this track a lot. It's always cool to drive on this track with good corners and good straights. Jurgen van Hover is of the same opinion. Zandvoort is a very technical track. You have to know a lot of tricks to get quick here, so you need a lot of practice here. So drivers who don't have lots of practice here will not have it easy. There's a lot of changes here with quick bits and slow bits, but I like it. And there's no Olivier van Oost at the start, unfortunately. In free practice, Olivier had a very heavy accident. Coming out of the final corner, he hit the tire stacks and he rolled over 7 times. So the car was destroyed. Fortunately, he's not harmed, but it's not a good weekend for us. And then it's the start of the first race. 3 races again this weekend. 2 races of 25 minutes, the sprint races. And then 1 race over 50 minutes where both drivers on the same car come into action. But first, the sprint race then, driven by the so-called pro drivers, with championship leader Xavier Maassen on pole position. Out go the lights and off goes Maassen in the yellow and white Porsche. It's Mickey Bertram, and right behind Maassen is Jeffrey van Hooydonk. The 3 contenders for the championship. Maassen taking the lead and van Hooydonk trying to squeeze out Mickey Bertram. That will not be easy. So it's Maassen from van Hooydonk, then Bertram, and then a fight between Dylan de Daal in the red and white Belgium Racing Porsche and Jurgen van Hover in the green and white Porsche, and it's de Daal who takes it in the Slotermaker corner. Maassen leading from Van Hooydonk. Van Hooydonk realizing that he better pass Maassen to improve his chances of retaining his title that he conquered in 2013. For the moment, it's still Maassen leading from the DVB Porsche, and then it's Mickey Bertram coming out of the Bosuit corner. Maassen leading from Van Hooydonk, then Bertram, then de Daal and Van Hover. And Rick Renmans leading the Challenge division. Maassen now creating a gap. And Bertram having difficulties to keep up with these two. Dark clouds over the Zandvoort track. It's not impossible that it will start raining during this race. Few spots on the camera lens as well. For the moment, Van Hooydonk still trying to catch up with Xavier Maassen. de Daal still in 4th position for the moment. Lost the contact with the leaders during the opening laps. And it's not easy to close a gap here in Zandvoort. Very hard on the tires as well. Fortunately, temperature are rather low this time. And the spots of rain on the lens are increasing, as you can see. Renmans still leading the Challenge division. Calm race for Renmans. Not really able to keep up with the drivers in the highest cup division. Mickey Bertram settling for 3rd once the rain came down over the track. There's no point in taking risks and having a heavy shunt. That might jeopardize the rest of the weekend as well. And the same goes for Jeffrey van Hooydonk. Once he felt that there was no point in chasing Xavier Maassen, he settled for the points of the 2nd place. There's 2 rounds of the 6 left after this Zandvoort meeting in the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge Benelux. So plenty of time to make up the distance in the championship. The gap that has increased now by winning for the 4th time this season. Xavier Maassen in the Allure team Porsche. From start to finish, leading this opening race of the Zandvoort weekend, and a great win for Maassen. Van Hooijdonk in second, a couple of seconds behind. And Mickey Bertram will finish in third. In fourth it was Dylan der Dale, and in fifth Jurgen van Hover, with Rick Renmans winning the challenge division. So a podium finish for Mickey Bertram then.
Mickey Bertram, de vierde
How did your first race of the weekend go? Yeah, it started well. I had a good qualifying. Was the second time in the pro drivers. I didn't have a good start in the race though. I lost contact with the leading, and then it started raining, so I kept it under control and settled for the points of the third place.
Toch niet dat ik erbij uitgekomen is voor safe gaan, 3 puntjes in de pocket.
Jurgen van Hover finished in fifth. It could have been better. I was had some bad luck in the opening lap. I was able to outbrake der Dale into the first corner, and then we were alongside because I wasn't able to accelerate as quickly as I would have wanted, because I was blocked by the car in front of us, and we went side by side into the slaughter marker, and then I had to lift. So I lost contact, and that was the end of my race. I finished in fifth, especially when it started raining. I didn't take any risks. Start of the second race then, 25 minutes. Weather conditions improving, as you can see. Always a nice place to visit. Circuit Park Zandvoort, along the North Sea coast, as you well know. The Koen Wouters now manning the Petronas Porsche. Pierre Piron in this blue and white Allure team Porsche. Heavy wind there in the circuit of the dunes. Max van Splunteren on pole position for this second sprint race. And next to him it's Peter Hoevenaars, his countryman in the Belgium Racing Porsche. Lights go on and out, and a good start from Van Splunteren. Not such a good start from Piron, who is passed by Mulders. Van Splunteren taking the lead. And it's Carlos Rivas who takes second away from Hoevenaars, and Koen Wouters in fourth position, with Mulders in fifth. So Van Splunteren leading from Rivas, then Hoevenaars, then Koen Wouters. Van Splunteren attacking from the word go. Wants to do what Xavier Maassen did in the first race. Dominated the race from start to finish. And he creates a little gap towards Carlos Rivas. Pierre Piron at the back of the grid, and he would retire at the end of lap 1, preserving the car, because that car had to serve as well in the Belgian Racing Car Championship, because the Allure Team's Porsche for that championship was crashed during qualifying, and they had to do both championships with one single car. And since Piron does not really play a major part in the championship here, he decided to retire. Meanwhile, Max van Splunteren still leading this second sprint race. Has a good advantage now over Carlos Rivas, the Luxembourg driver. With the speed lover Porsche, who is now rejoined by Peter Hoevenaars. And Rivas immediately defending, taking the inside line towards Tarzan corner. This might be a good scrap for second place between Rivas and Hoevenaars. Hoevenaars patiently waiting for a mistake by Rivas. But for the moment, the Luxembourg driver keeps that second position. Trying to find a better acceleration out of the corners there, Hoevenaars. It's not easy to overtake here in Zandvoort. Choosing different lines through the chicane, but always blocked by the speed lover Porsche. Seems to me that the Belgian racing machine is just a bit quicker. Rivas keeps the inside line, protecting his position. Now maybe coming out of the final corner. Might be another chance here. Hoevenaars going for the outside, going for the inside now for Tarzan. Stays behind Rivas. Has a lot better traction apparently. Able to keep to the apex a bit longer. Now maybe. Good acceleration, but he's on the wrong side of Rivas for the next corner. So he has to stay behind. If Rivas can keep this up until the end of the race, second is his. But the win will go to Max van Splunteren. Really dominating this race. Already has a 15 seconds advantage over the fighting duo. And there he comes out of the final corner. Race number 2. A win for Max van Splunteren in the GT3.nl by Land Motorsport Porsche. And who will be second? Another chance for Hoevenaars, and he steps on the brakes. That was a safer option. But that means that he will have to settle for third. So Rivas crosses the line in second from Hoevenaars. And Koen Wouters is a distant fourth in this second race, with Wim Mulders winning the Challenge Division. That was the end of part 1. See you after the break. Welcome back in the rainy Zandvoort, and we talked to Pierre Piron, who didn't participate in the second race. Well, it all went well in the first race with Xavier winning it, so that was a good thing. I didn't really participate in the second race because we have to do the whole weekend with this car. Our other car had an accident, so we have to do both championships with this car. And because we wanted to preserve the car a bit, I didn't really drive in the second race. And now for the long race, there will be some difficult weather conditions. What will happen? It has been like this all weekend. It was rain and sun and rain and sun. But then again, those conditions are the same for everybody. So let's see. And it rains very hard on the Zandvoort track for the 50-minute race.
Vlak voor de start van de lange race.
Dylan, just before the start of the long race, heavy rain, what will happen? Yes, this is very hard rain. We have new rain tires now under the car. I think it will be very tough. What's the strategy for this race? Just go flat out. And that's a very simple strategy for Dylan Derdale. Rick, heavy rain just before the start. What will happen now? I think this is the first time, especially at Zandvoort, that I drive in the rain. So I will try to follow the other cars if I can. And well, what do you think of the track? I think it's a fantastic track in the dry. What we'll give in the wet, I will tell you after the race.
Hoop ik hetzelfde te kunnen zeggen.
Heavy rain just before the start. What will happen? I think this will be very tricky here in these cars. We have a lot of traction because the engine is in the back, but it could always be aquaplaning here, as we could see in Zolder in my sprint race. There were really some puddles on the track, and I think it will happen here as well. So I'm not sure whether it will be a start behind safety car maybe, because if it even starts to rain even heavier, then it's not really safe to have a regular start, so it might be a safety car start.
Blijft tricky.
And it's not a safety car start, it's a regular start. With Mickey Bertram taking the lead in the white and yellow Porsche. And Pierre Piron in the Lure Team Porsche in second. And Dylan Derdale, who overtakes Piron going into Tarzan corner or not. Piron on the outside, Dylan on the inside. And a lot of oversteer there for Pierre Piron, and Dylan Derdale takes second away from the Frenchman. So Piron now behind Bertram and Derdale. And Derdale already looking for grip to take the lead away from Mickey Bertram. Here we drive with Bertram and we have Derdale on the left, and Derdale takes the lead. He promised to go flat out, and he's a man of his word, Dylan Derdale. On his new rain tires, the new Continental rain tires. Very useful in these conditions. Piron in third, Rivas in fourth, and Koen Wouters in fifth, with Rick Redmonds leading the Challenge division. And here with Koen Wouters, has driven a lot of races this weekend, also participating in the BRCC. And he did some concerts in between as well on Friday and Saturday evening. So a very busy lad. In fifth for the moment, Derdale still leading from Bertram, then Piron and Rivas trying to keep out of the spray of the cars in front. Koen Wouters heading for Tarzan corner, that's rather quickly. Lost his braking points. And Wouters is off. I'm not really happy about it. And he's just outside the track. They might try to push him back on. Meanwhile, Rivas menacing Pierre Piron for the third position. Trying to keep close to the Allure team Porsche, with Derdale still leading the race. Then Bertram just sliding a bit wide. And Rivas just behind Pierre Piron. Redmonds meanwhile making his debut in the rain here in Zandvoort and coping very well with the conditions, still leading the Challenge division. Derdale leading from Bertram. And then the fight for third between Piron and Rivas. Piron again has opened up the gap again just a bit. Things can change very quickly in these conditions. Derdale keeps on pushing, wants to give as much of a lead as possible to his teammate Peter Hoevenaars. Koen Wouters meanwhile has rejoined the track and is into the pit lane. They add a new strip to the front of the car, change a rear tire. Has lost 3 laps in the adventure, but still can score a couple of points. And those are especially important for his teammate Jeffrey van Hooydonk, who's second in the championship. Just in front of this man, Mickey Bertram. Bertram trying to close the gap with Derdale coming to the Schervlak corner, and that's a tricky one. Over the white line, sliding into the gravel bed. Can he rejoin? That will be difficult because he's pretty far away from the track here. There's Piron passing him, and there's Rivas as well. Bertram in 4th position now. There's something wrong with the car. He doesn't get up to speed as quickly as he should have been. And he gets into the pit lane. There's a problem with the alternator belt, and that's retirement for Bertram and Van Splinteren.
Wat gebeurt er?
What happened? I made a small mistake in the Schervlak corner, and I went into the gravel bed, and the car was damaged, and that's the end of the race. So a massive lead now for Dylan Derdale. His lap times a bit going up, giving the car now to Peter Hoevenaars with a good lead. And the Dutchman should be able to finish this up. Dylan, difficult conditions. Yeah, very difficult. I had to look where I could get the car, drive from the BRCC, and I stepped over in this car without EBS or traction control, so I had to look for the grip. And from the word go, I had a good rhythm, and it went very well. Carlos Rivas now going into Schervlak, and he's far too fast into that Schervlak corner, into the gravel bed as well. But he too can rejoin the track. A bit desperate, the Luxembourg driver.
Carlos, comment ça s'est passé?
Carlos, what happened there?
Le début était assez,
It was a good start. Difficult though, because I didn't see very much, but I found a good rhythm rather quickly. And then there were some drivers who made a mistake. So I tried to attack Pierre Piron, but then there was a problem with the gearbox. It didn't shift down, so I went into the Schevelaar corner far too quickly. I could rejoin, but I had lost some time. And Pierre Piron now in second in the Allure team car, giving the car to Xavier Maassen, the championship leader.
Comment ça se passe pour vous?
How's it going for you? Well, I think it goes very well. We're in second position now. Unfortunately, Jeffrey van Hooydonk and Koen Wouters had a technical problem, so they won't score many points. And since they're the fiercest competitors of Xavier in the championship, I think we could have a good point advantage here at the end of this Zandvoort weekend.
Donc voilà.
And Van Hooydonk now at the wheel of the number 1 car. It's still in 5th position. So he does score some points. But the gap with championship leader Xavier Maassen will open up some more. Good points in challenge division as well for Renmans and Mulders. Wim Mulders having taken over the poison green Porsche. And a faultless drive for these two guys. Not really able to take the fight to the drivers of the Cup division. That's not really what is expected from them. Rivas and Van Hover. Van Hover taking over the Porsche in 3rd position. But the cars in front and behind were too far away to really mount a challenge. So all Van Hover had to do is get the car to the finish. And he acquitted himself brilliantly of that task. Xavier Maassen in second now, some 20 seconds behind the leader. And in the knowledge that Jeffrey van Hooydonk is only in 5th and that Mickey Bertrand and Max van Splinteren are out of the race, the Dutchman wasn't willing to take too many risks, settling for the points for 2nd place, 17 points. That will give him a 16-point lead. And in front, Peter Hoevenaars finishing the work that Dylan Derdala had started in the opening laps. So a great win for the Belgium Racing Porsche with a 17-second advantage over the Xavier Maassen Pierre Piron Porsche. A deserved win for the Belgium racing guys. You hear the results. Van Hoover was in 3rd. Renmans Mulders winning the challenge division. And Van Hooydonk Wouters setting fastest left. Jeffrey van Hooydonk was still in 5th. So a podium finish for Jurgen van Hoover. Jurgen, a nice podium finish for you. Well, it was a pretty boring race for me actually. Carlos gave me the car in 3rd, but the cars in front was too far away, the cars behind me as well, so I drove safely to the 3rd place. Very tricky conditions, so I had to just control the race. And a 2nd place for Xavier Maassen.
Xavier in 2e plaats, tevreden?
Xavier second, happy? Yes, we did a good thing in the championship. Belgium Racing were uncatchable today, but we took a lot of points for the championship. And I think have a good lead now in the championship, so that was the most important thing of the championship, that we were able to increase our lead in the championship.
De laatste 2 wedstrijden voor het kampioenschap.
And the win for Dylan Derdala and Peter Hoevenaars.
Dylan, proficiat.
Dylan, congratulations, a great win. How was it?
In het begin goed moeten attackeren.
We had to fight hard at the start to get some rhythm. And then at a certain time I was lapping I was the fastest guy on the track, so I didn't push anymore because I didn't know what was possible. And I saw Jeffrey was quicker at the end, so we could have tried some more. Then Peter took the car and drove the same lap times as I did, so that was perfect. It was a perfect race.
En hoe was uw stint, Peter?
And how was your stint, Peter?
Eigenlijk zeer goed. Dylan had
Yeah,
al
very
een
well.
voorsprong
Dylan
op
had
25
a good lead,
seconden. Ik op de
25
baan op en
seconds.
eigenlijk, ik heb die
And all I had to
voorsprong
do
kunnen
was
vasthouden,
keep that
eigenlijk
lead and
heel eerste geworden, dus
drive the
tevreden.
car to the finish. Dylan, this was your second participation this year. We will see you again.
Het is de tweede deelname,
Yes, a
ja.
second participation
Ik heb
indeed.
vorig jaar
Last year I drove a race as
maar
well.
de jongens die nou allemaal rijden, die
And
hebben al 2 jaar
these
ervaring
guys have a
met
lot
deze
of
banden en
experience
deze
with
banden zijn
these
zeer
tires. They're very
moeilijk en heel
tricky to
fragiel.
control.
Dus normaal
But
gezien
still,
zullen we
we
voor de
might come
wedstrijd
back for the
deelnemen.
final races, yes. And have a look at the championship standings now. Maassen is leading with a 16-point advantage over Van Hooydonk, 17 points in hand over Rivas, and then it's Wouters and Mickey Bertram. And in the challenge division, a big lead now for Mulders and Renmans, with Mulders having 13 points more than Rick Renmans. And that was the end of the Zandvoort Masters weekend for the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge Benelux. See you next time.